supposed to wrap up. We're originally supposed to wrap up around 4:10. I think we'll wrap up by 4:25. We do have a brief project steering committee that's going to start at 4:30, and that project steering committee is so that the project steering committee can elect their co-chairs for the following fiscal year. So encourage our speakers to stay on task. I think we have just enough time to be able to pretty much wrap things up by 4:25. All right, let's get started.
Yeah, let's get started. No time to waste. Conversion status?
Yep. All right, next destination is conversion. As we all know that when our data is accurate and readily available, everything in our jobs is better. So our team's been working really hard to map, prepare, transform, and validate the data so that your post-go live experience is seamless with minimal manual case cleanup. Our conversion team leads Paul Trisler and Keith Salz have created video, and I will turn it over now to Paul, who, pardon the pun, puts the fun in conversion.
Thank you, Wendy. And good afternoon, counties. As Wendy said, I'm Paul Trisler. I'm the consortium conversion lead. We prepared a video for you to cover today's conversion topics. So if you would, please roll the video. Welcome to Destination Conversion, everyone. At this stop, over the next few minutes, we'll tell you about and show you how conversion works for C4 and for CalWin, because they're different. We'll show you some real converted data in CalSAWS. We'll tell you about the results from the converted data test and give you some really good news about conversion and tell you a bit more about the C4 cutover timeline that you saw a bit earlier today. Our C4 conversion isn't the usual standard system replacement conversion because C4 and LRS are so closely related. We start with our C4 database and then upgrade it to look just like the LRS's database, applying changes so that the C4 database becomes identical to the LRS. Of course, we have to upgrade the C4 data too, and when that's done, we layer in or append that C4 data to the LRS data. And when that's all complete, the 39 C4 counties have been migrated to CalSAWS. Of course, there's a bunch of technical stuff that's done during the 3-day cutover period, like shutting down the systems and moving data from the C4 production data center to the cloud and some data transformations, verifying and validating the results. But this is the high-level 15,000-foot view of how C4 is migrated to CalSAWS. Now for CalWin, it's a bit more complicated. The CalWin conversion is a traditional conversion. And by that, I mean it's a complete system replacement. And the system is progressively replaced over 6 go-live waves. But you already know about the 6 waves. But for each of those waves, we extract the go-live county's data from CalWin and run a bunch of transformations to make the CalWin data conform to the CalSAWS data model. Then load that data into CalSAWS. Then, just like with C4, we verify and validate the results, then flip the switch so that CalSAWS is live with each CalWin wave over the same weekend time frame, which is why there are 6 waves for CalWin. And when we're done in the fall of 2023, all 58 California counties will be in CalSAWS. Now I'd like to show you some live data in CalSAWS. The data you're about to see is real data from our C4 mock conversion #1 run that we completed in early May. Yes, we are running mock conversions, or also known as dress rehearsals, preparing for our C4 September go-live. Of course, we've scrubbed the data for personally identifiable information, or PII, as you can see in the highlighted areas of the CalSAWS page you see here. Trust me that there's a real San Bernardino case number in that case number field, and I clicked the submit button to get to the case summary page you now see on the screen. Again, the page has been scrubbed for PII, as you can see in the red outline boxes, but this is a real page from our mock conversion of a non-assistance CalFresh case with aid code R4, which applied for assistance on December 18th, 2020. And how can you miss that big yellow case review banner in the middle of the page? That's the case review banner we've talked about in various meetings. This case needs a case review and EDBC run for CalFresh and Medi-Cal, and appears on the case review report that we will provide following conversion. We'll talk more about the case reviews in a couple of minutes, but we wanted you to see a real converted case in CalSAWS that came from a real conversion. Now let's talk a bit about converted data test. Converted data test, or CDT, is a huge milestone just recently completed by the project. The converted data test team is separate and apart from the conversion team. The question CDT is charged to answer is, can converted data be used in CalSAWS to accomplish counties' everyday business. This slide talks about tier 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5 transactions, but let me translate that. The tiers classify the system transactions by their frequency of use by counties. For example, tier 1 transactions are the top 15 transactions by volume, tier 2 is the top 80% of transactions by volume, and so on. The 5 tiers cover 100% of the transactions in the system used by counties. The CDT team used a combination of their automated regression test scripts, or ART scripts, and manual scripts to test the converted data produced by our conversion team. The CDT folks tested nearly 100% of the system's transactions with our converted data. Yes, some defects were found, and they've been fixed as we go into our next mock conversion. The bottom line is this: CalSAWS can use our C4 converted data just like any other data in the system. Many, many thanks to our CDT team for all the hard work they accomplished during this 4-month CDT period and giving us all the confidence in the results of our C4 conversion. As we approach C4 Go Live in CalSAWS, we know there's some anxiety about the new system, and in particular about conversion. Well, here's some good news. Wait, it's great news. 100% of your cases convert successfully. Every case continues to receive benefits after conversion based on the last authorized EDBC. Just 14% of converted cases show the case review banner you saw just a few minutes ago and will be on the case review report. Counties can validate the converted data in UAT, which is underway right now, and the yellow banners will be on those cases because we converted the data that's in UAT. That case review report, counties can work through that report as a normal part of your everyday workload. And every county, C4 and CalWIN alike, has funding available for manual case reviews. Reach out to your county's fiscal team for details. We have one caution for you counties. Cases with a case worker review banner on the case summary page will fall out of COLAs following conversion until a case review is done and EDBC has been run. And here's the really great news. The project is working right now with our state partners to reschedule the CalWORKS CalFresh Foster Care COLA to August instead of October, which would immediately follow our Go Live. So there will be extra time to finish case reviews before the next COLA at the end of the year. This slide will build the cutover timeline while I'm talking. The cutover begins at close of business on Thursday, September 23rd at 6 p.m. when C4 goes down for batch. And you can see all the other milestones that will be happening during the cutover weekend. What's most important though is that our conversion team will be working throughout the weekend to be done for Go Live on Monday morning. Oh, and there's one other thing. Early Monday morning, and it says 1 a.m. here, but we'll refine that exact time as we work through our mock conversions in the coming weeks. The C4 counties will have an opportunity to verify the data we've converted. We'll have a county click-through period, and counties can log into CalSAWS to verify the data. You'll be hearing lots more about county click-through from the implementation team in the coming days. Oh, and what about Los Angeles County during the cutover weekend? CalSAWS will have downtime during the weekend while we load the C4 data into CalSAWS. But LA and C4, your PRT environments, will be online during the downtime. Oh, just one more thing. About those case reviews after conversion, we've spoken a couple of times about the case review banner on the case summary page and the case review report that goes along with that banner. Here are the number of cases that will be on your county's case review report. The overall average is just 14%. That's a lot better than the 100% caseload review that was required by the ISAWS migration. We're really happy with the success of our conversion, happy with the numbers shown here, and we hope you are too. We're excited, and we hope you're excited too. We're looking forward to the successful migration of C4 and CalWIN beginning next year to CalSAWS. Thanks for watching. Again, counties, thank you so very much for watching. I'll hand back to Michael now for questions and comments.
Hey, thanks, Paul. I did have a question on one of the slides. You had the tiers, and I didn't quite understand the percentages because when it looked like it had the percentages of testing, they went down as low as 30%. So at the, I think, 5th tier. So I wasn't sure what that represented.
Yeah, that represents the transaction tiers of the, or let me say it a different way. It represents how the converted data test team, the system test team, classifies transactions based on their usage across the entire application. Now, the point here is that there was nearly 100% coverage of every transaction that counties use during converted data test. especially the more frequently used ones, there was 100% coverage of those transactions. So we can now be assured that all of those things that we use on a day-to-day basis will work with converted data in CalSAWS. So we're really happy and pleased with our converted data test team for the amount of coverage they got across all of those transactions.
Okay, any questions from other board members or state partners? Okay, any questions or any comments from the public? All right, thank you, Paul. We will move on from that item to legislative action update.
Next up is our legislative actions and our budget policy update with our collective partners across the state. So I'll turn it over to Karen.
Thanks, June. Road trips are very often places where we stop by and visit with friends. And so in our presentation today, I am bringing along my friends from CVSS, DHCS, and CWDA. So we will start with Christiana Smith.
Thank you, Karen, and good afternoon, everybody. I am just going to do a quick review. I'm not going to hit every single thing that is on this slide. Many of you have probably seen it in some of the prior meetings, and just kind of going over a number of the key policy changes that are currently in the pipeline, many of them from prior legislative actions. So I'll just spotlight a few things. In the Medi-Cal sphere, just last weekend, there were changes at CalHERS as well as in SAWS to support what we call eligibility review, which is to make sure that county eligibility workers can review the results similar to what you do currently in SAWS from an eligibility run in CalHERS before those are effectuated. So we're really excited about that. That's something counties have been wanting for a long time. So that's an exciting one. I will spotlight in the foster care space. Upcoming next month in July for the CalWIN counties will be the additional housing supplements for non-minor dependents. That was one of the budget items from this past year's budget that will be going in. Of course, we do have, as we've been talking greatly, the C4 cutover and the Benefits Cal launch in September. Coming in January, we have the changes from last year's budget in the child support pass-through that will allow families with multiple children to get a larger pass-through of $200, and families with one child will get a $100 pass-through. So we've got that coming as well. And then another CalWorks related one that I will spotlight is the time clock changes. In May of 2022, the state's 48-month time limit will expand to 60 months. And so we've got that one coming up as well. And as you can see at the very end of the slide, we have already started to accumulate a list of changes that will be effectuated after the CalSAWS migration is complete. So we will be doing some pretty exciting things then with the pre-populated SAR 7 for CalFresh and CalWorks, of course, if they're both programs. And our foster care eligibility determination integration with the child welfare system, the CARES project. So those are just a few of the things that are currently in progress that may be of interest to folks to just recap that. So with that, I will hand it over to Yinja to talk a little bit about what is happening in this year's budget.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Yingjia Huang, the Assistant Deputy Director for Healthcare Benefits and Eligibility. I believe there is another slide after this.
Actually, Yinja, we took it out because of where we were at with the budget.
Got it. Makes perfect sense. Not a problem at all. So appreciate the clarification. So where we are in terms of important kind of highlights that will kind of from a policy perspective that may impact the SAWS from a automation front. So specifically, as many of you know, the administration has put forward several proposals. One of them is for older Californians. This is a May revision proposal to basically kind of carry our policies to expand full scope Medi-Cal for individuals 60 years and older, regardless of immigration status. As many of you are following the budget cycle, there are legislative proposals to modify that age from 60 to 50. So given kind of where we are from a budget perspective, we have not landed on the final proposal. So just wanting to share with the body today and the public that the department is aware of this proposal for sure. And we will be looking to kind of pivot as needed depending on where the final budget lands from an age perspective. But we have been collaborating with the Saws and CalHears, make sure understanding that there will be automation kind of acts to pivot, and from a policy perspective to land. We have queued up all the necessary activities to make sure this does happen. With the date in the TBL from the administration, we are proposing a May 1st date. So given that's quick, we're looking to do our work quickly. The second thing to flag for the body today is the expansion of postpartum. So under the federal administration, there is a policy for states to choose to implement extension for pregnancy individuals or individuals who are in their current postpartum period, expanding basically their postpartum period to an additional 10 months. Right now we provide 2 months, so it's an additional 10 months. So this is also the administration's May revision proposal, really to align and really to affirm California's intent to select and pursue actual authority through the federal pathways to enact this. The earliest this will happen is April 1st, 2022, and understanding that we are pretty close, we're 10 months away from this timeline that we have kind of worked very transparently with the Saws and CalHears systems as well as CWDA to make sure that we're queuing up the necessary activities and tasks to ensure once we have a final budget deal, we will be moving forward as is. And there are kind of several things. One thing I do want to just share also as part of the administration's proposal under the Cal Lame initiative, we do have the incarceration suspension policy, which we have kind of logged and talked through for many years, kind of in the process. So this is something that we are committed to kind of engaging kind of in our kind of discussions as we land the budget to make sure that we are fully engaging with the SAWS to open up the conversations again on automating the current suspensions policies that I think counties do currently manually. So just these are the couple of the various policy kind of changes proposed by the administration. I'm currently kind of with the current state of affairs from a budget perspective. I'm not here to obviously share additional information just because I don't know it myself. So this is some of the things we're watching for, but we have been queuing and just working transparently with our partners, knowing that there is shorter runways from an automation perspective. So from the department, great appreciation for SAWS and CWDA for being nimble and flexible in a very interesting May revision year. So that concludes my piece. So thank you.
Thanks, Jinja. I also wanted to ask Rocky Gavan from CDSS to also join in the conversation about what is potentially happening on their side of the house for anything that she would like to share. I will say we have some really fancy slides that we're going to be put together, and with the where we're at with the budget this year, right on the cusp of having it finalized, kind of threw a little bit of a wrench in there. So Rocky, are you there?
Yep, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Well, maybe once everything lands, Karen, we can come back next month and show folks, or at the next JPA, show folks our fancy slides with the actual policies that landed. Similar to Yinja's update, even while we've been on this call, there have been continued negotiations with the administration. So we don't have any final word for you on anything today, unfortunately. However, we do have, I think many of you have seen a number of the administration's proposals across numerous programs. And so potentially some changes coming in CalWorks, CalFresh, our adult programs, child welfare, kind of across the board. And so wanted to echo the appreciation that Yinja gave to the SAWS teams for answering our ridiculous questions at all hours of the day and helping us to further those negotiations and ensure that there's a realistic picture of what can and can't be done as we move forward. So I'm actually not going to jump into the detail of any of the proposals at this point because it has been a little volatile and up and down and all over the place with the different programs. But as soon as that does land, which we are hoping will be tonight or early tomorrow morning, then we'll be able to share out more to everyone and just appreciate everyone's ongoing partnership here. Thanks, Karen.
Thanks, Rocky. Appreciate you participating as well. Christiana started with kind of our longer range over the next couple of years of what's coming down the pipe. And in closing, I just wanted to share with you what's actually on our plate in just the next couple of months prior to migration. We still have a lot of things going on, and they're not all in preparation for migration. They are just other things that are taking place. As she mentioned, we have the CalWIN housing support that's coming in July. And then both in July and in August, we are looking at, in July, we're looking at doing a second, before it was called the Golden State Grant. This one is called the Pandemic Assistance Benefit. It is the same type of benefit that the Golden State Grant was for the CalWorks customers. And then also in July, we have the CalFresh emergency allotments that we have each month. And then again, in August, we are set up to be able to do that one. In August, as was mentioned in the conversion update, we are looking, if we can get the policy confirmed quickly enough, we are looking at being able to do the CalWorks, CalFresh, and foster care COLAs in August for October. And our reason for doing that is we normally run them in early September, but with migration, of course, we want to try and get ahead of that a little bit because there are other migration activities that will be taking place in September in preparation for migration. So we don't have a finalized date for that yet. And as soon as we get the policy, we'll be able to, once we get a finalized policy, then we'll be able to confirm a date for those COLAs to be run. Later in September also, in August, we also have the CalWIN Release 66 coming up. And then we are anticipating the CalFresh emergency allotments for September. Haven't landed on a date for those yet either, tentative, but they will take place before the CalFresh, before migration. Oh, too many things going on all at once. There's a lot happening in the policy world. So we really appreciate also the partnership working with the state and having Christiana, Yinja, and Rocky participate today, even though we know, budget's still in flux. We appreciate your participation today. Back to you, Michael.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for the presentation, ladies. So are there any questions or comments from the board members or state partners on this presentation item? Okay, hearing none. Any public comment on this presentation? Great. Hearing none. Well done, ladies. Let's go ahead and move on to the next item down the state.
All right, thanks, guys. So yeah, our next destination is imaging. At this stop, Danielle Benoit and John Dre will show us a demo of how imaging system works for CalSAWS and provide status of the preparation of imaging and the imaging solution for C4, LA, and CalWIN, and review the imaging performance testing approach and the outstanding test results so far. So Danielle, I'll turn it over to you.
Hi, everyone. So we're going to go ahead and kick off this demo showing you a little bit more of the imaging solution. We know last time we gave you a sneak peek, and we're just going to continue to build on that with the integration point. So with that, go ahead and start the video.
Hello, this is Chris from the CalSAWS imaging team. Today, we have another opportunity to show you more of the development work that has been completed. Various teams have been working closely together the last few months to build integration with the CalSAWS main application, making navigation and interactions with the imaging system seamless and intuitive. Right from the case summary page, users can scan documents into the imaging system simply by clicking the Capture button. This launches the imaging system. Thanks to single sign-on, the user is connected automatically. No need to re-enter a username and password. Here, the user is then prompted to confirm scanning options such as bundle ID or scanning source. Once scanning is complete, information from the case the scan was initiated from is populated straight into the scanned document as metadata. Because the CalSAWS imaging solution serves both as a scanning frontend and document repository, once the scanning user submits the document, it is immediately available on the case. This instantaneous linking of the document is true even if OCR classification is required downstream. As we can see here, the document we just captured shows up via the case summary page. Following a time-sensitive document, like the one we just scanned, is simple using the customer reporting pages in CalSAWS. From this reporting page, we can see the imaging solution has marked the document received. Clicking the Images button on the Customer Reporting List page opens a list of documents specific to that page. For example, a completed SAR-7 and any documents submitted with it. This is the case throughout the system. Images buttons on specific data collection pages pull back documents associated with those pages. Imaging automation also extends to task generation. The document routing rules that determine which documents trigger tasks are configurable and must be set by each county. This allows for flexibility in business processes across counties. In this scenario, we've set up a rule that creates a task for this document type. From this task screen, the user can click on the Images link to pull up a direct link to the document. This integration helps enable work to be prioritized and actioned. Another useful integration feature is the Point of Services link that can be found in the task navigation bar on the case summary page. This link filters a view of all documents submitted externally by a customer, whether that be via the kiosk or the BenefitsCal portal. This pop-up also provides information about the submission method used in the Capture Information column. In addition to integration, we also have finished implementing our enhanced virtual printer. With Virtual Print, users can capture into the CalSAWS imaging solution directly from the browser or other applications on their workstation. Virtual Print behaves like a printer installed on the workstation and then sends the printed document or page directly to the imaging solution. This removes the need to print out documents prior to uploading them to a case, saving both paper and time for the end user. Once submitted from QA, documents are immediately available on the case. Documents not generated from the CalSAWS application, such as verification documents, will be passed off to the Optical Character Recognition Engine, also known as Brainware, for classification. This engine classifies documents by extracting key data and by considering the structure and layout of the document. Additionally, the new virtual printer supports barcode detection, similar to scanning with a physical scanner. This brings all the benefits of barcode automation to virtual printer, such as case and form detection. As seen here, the barcode value and all other indexing information is pre-populated onto the document. This wraps up today's demo, and we hope that you enjoyed this sneak peek into what is to come for CalSAWS imaging.
So, hi everyone, I am John Dre and I'm the delivery lead for the CalSAWS Imaging and Contact Center Solutions. So as we're bringing back up the slide deck, there we go. We're going to cover a few different topics here. The first one is just a quick update on doc migration and where we're at with the overall imaging project. And then the next update will go into some of our performance testing results and how we're doing on that front. So this first item we're covering, we'll start with the C4 images for Go Live in the first section here. So we have basically two major work streams as part of this effort. And those two major work streams are, we have to obviously deploy all of the solution and everything and get the solution stood up and tested and ready to go. That was kind of what you saw in the demo, and it's also what's been delivered to UAT. So that step is a major accomplishment. We've moved past that step, and we're in UAT currently. The other major step, though, is migrating all of our images from the on-prem solution into the Highland Cloud. So as you are all aware, we have C4 images that are in our on-prem data centers, and we have roughly around 800 million pages of images that need to be moved from that on-prem facility into the Highland cloud. And as was kind of mentioned earlier in risk number 248 in that risk slide, we had some challenges around moving the data prior to February 28th of this calendar year. So all of our data from February 28th till current is currently in the cloud already, and it's been synced to the cloud starting back in February. Copying all of the data from the on-prem system into what we call snowballs, or what Amazon calls snowballs, or an AWS snowball, is basically a secure device for transporting data. So we have a couple things that we're doing to look into mitigating this risk and keeping us on track for having all of our images as part of Go Live. We're currently, and I think we're just about wrapping up with this process, but we're currently working on changing our methodology and our scripts that we've been using for migrating that data from the existing storage solutions and onto those snowball devices. So we've been working with our vendor partners, AWS and Highland, to complete updated scripts that are changing our process a little bit to improve the way we're moving that data. So we're doing that. And then we're also taking an approach of using more snowball devices and more devices to ship data more often. So currently we shipped a very large set of data on our last snowballs, and we had some issues with that. We are now going to be shipping those in much smaller increments. So we're looking at probably in a 7 to 10 day range or so, something along those lines. So we're gonna keep shipping data more continuously to verify and validate that everything is working and we're getting that data into the system prior to go live. So the key thing to point out here is that we are still on track for getting all of these images migrated into the system for Go Live, and we're still marching towards that. And as part of that, we will be reporting in the standard green light process as we get closer to Go Live. We'll be reporting all of the metrics around our data migration and how that's going. So that will definitely be a key decision point in migrating over to the new solution. So as for that, I'm going to hand it over to Danielle to cover the next two sections on this slide.
Thank you, John. So to go over the LA images for Go Live, so LA County is currently in their process of migrating their documents from their existing EDMS imaging solution, and we've already received and we're validating the first snowball, which had the 10 terabytes of data on it. So we're validating that, getting that in, and they are continuously loading a second snowball so we can continue with the same type of methodology that we're using for the C4. Moving on to the Cowan counties, we have been engaging the Cowan counties on a wave basis. So we started with wave 1 and we're working through all of those waves. We meet with them regularly, working through, meet with your counties regularly, working through all the document migration needs. Kind of the best part of this is that lessons learned. So as we continue to learn with the C4 document migration and the LA document migration, the Cowan is getting the benefit of those lessons learned as we're kind of working through with those counties to get their documents over. We have some counties that are already doing test data and we're testing connections. So we're really excited and moving forward and getting all the images over and ready for everybody's go lives. Back to you, John.
Yep. So now we will move into some, what I think is exciting information, but we've completed our some of our performance testing, and we've done two kind of sets of performance testing. We've done infrastructure performance testing at the Highland Cloud location. So we're stress testing and performance testing the Highland solution as a whole. And then we've also done some county network kind of infrastructure performance testing as well. And we'll share some of those results during this discussion. So the first one is the Highland Cloud infrastructure performance testing. And on this page, you'll see some metrics. And really at a high level, what we've done is we've done this performance test and conducted it at a 40 county load, so LRS and C4 volumes. So we're trying to show the result of a 40 county volume going into our C4 go live in September. The other key thing to point out here is that the test scenarios and the data that we're going to go over here and the metrics you're going to see, all of those things were conducted concurrently. So, and I think the key messaging behind that and why that's important is that we have users in the system searching for documents, they're viewing documents, they're scanning and capturing documents, and then they're also routing documents to other workflows and queues within the system. So all of those tests were conducted at the same time and concurrently. And on top of that, we ran all of those in multiple executions over roughly a 16-hour period to kind of conduct some endurance level testing to show that the system is running over larger periods of time as well. So based on that, let's go into the next slide. So on the first set of metrics here, we have two things on this. It's really around capturing or storing documents. So there's two kind of metrics on this. There's one which is creating the documents, which is basically creating a shell within the system and all of the metadata that's associated to that document. And you can see that the average speed that we're seeing is 0.1 seconds or 0.11 seconds per doc creation. And then the next piece is adding all of those pages to the document. So one is creating the shell with the metadata, and the next piece is to add the 5 pages that we used in our continuous testing to that particular document. And you can see both of them combined are still showing less than a half a second for the average speed for these. And we see at a rough level, the average industry standard is 100% of these transactions happening in less than 5 seconds. Moving on to the next one. So on this one, we're looking at viewing documents, and this really consists of two things. People usually search for the documents before they view a document. So conducting the search, we're seeing roughly 99.9% of those happening in less than 2 seconds, which is fantastic. And it's the average is actually at 0.34, you can see on the screen. And then the next piece is the user actually opening that image to view that image. And that one is happening at just under a second, and we're seeing 99.9% less than 2 seconds. And the one thing to call out here is that this is a contractual SLA that we have for this particular area of the application, is that 90% of all of these transactions complete within less than 2 seconds. And with the volume and load we put in there, we're seeing that today. So the last set of metrics that we go into is really around the routing of documents. So when somebody goes to route a document from one queue to the next, or like they're in a, say for example, they're in the QA queue where they're validating OCR results, and they're opening up document, they need to find the queue that they're going to send that to next, right after they've applied the appropriate metadata, and then they need to transfer it to that queue. So there's the ability to search for queues and list all of the queues that that person that is logged into the system has with them, so they can choose a queue to route it to. So that's the top section there. And then the bottom section is then routing that document from the existing queue that it's in to the new queue. And as you can see, that both of these are also showing fantastic results at the loads that we're putting on the system. So this slide was a little out of order. I think we made a mistake when we put the slides in, but I've covered most of this, but I'm going to cover a couple key points. So the county infrastructure performance testing that I was referring to earlier, we've completed testing at LA County and 3 of LA County's sites. We still have some C4 counties that are in process as we speak, and we're looking to complete those tests by the end of July at this point. So we've got Imperial, Shasta, and San Bernardino County. So we tried to get a range of large to smaller counties within the C4 world to do the same network performance testing that we are going to see here for LA County. On the LA County side, we did 3 offices, like I said before, and we took some metrics from LA County on the volume of users that are at that site. So number of users that would be logging into the system and clicking around and doing things, viewing documents. We also took into account the number of people that would be scanning at that site, so we know how many people are capturing documents. And then we used that information to drive our load. And we actually pushed the metrics much higher than we anticipate for the actual load for LA County. So we took those metrics and we pushed them to a much higher volume to try to really kind of prove that the network at the county locations would be able to handle the load of saving these images and viewing these images from the cloud location. And we'll see that in these next pages of the actual results of the performance test. So we conducted these directly from the site. So we ran this the same performance test that we ran in the cloud location at these sites, and working directly with LA County on that. So this one, we kind of summarized all of the metrics that we ran on one slide to make it easy. We averaged those metrics for all 3 sites into each one of these categories and these boxes. And I mean, at the highest level, as you can see, everything is performing really well, coming from the county locations as well, and using the existing network infrastructure that's in place there today. So I think this is also just another set of positive results in our overall performance testing that we've conducted. And at this point, we'll turn it back to Michael for questions or comments.
All right, thanks for the presentation, John. I do have a couple questions. I know that we ended up having a delay getting the right snowball device for us. We got like the wrong one. And I know that kind of set us back. So I was just wondering if that caused anything in terms of the progress we should be at, or are we on pace?
Are you gonna go, Danielle?
You can take it if you want.
Sure. So at this point, we are on track, and we are validating the images from the first snowball, and we are currently testing the import process and tuning that import process to put that all into the timeline schedule and show that. So right now, I mean, I think there's nothing that shows that we're not on track at this point. We are currently importing that first snowball, and we've got more snowballs coming. There's one already there that you're loading up, and then there's a third one in progress as of right now. So we're going to keep that process moving and keep images coming over and working through that. So at this point, we're currently monitoring that, and we will continue to report out as we progress.
Michael, the one thing that did when there was a slowdown, there was some defective devices that we received, and it started to look like it could impact the schedule. That it was the catalyst for us to put in that image that John talked about and the implementation team talked about, so that we're tracking to that. We're also having status meetings every single day to be able to look at that progress. And we are proceeding positively, but we are tracking that because there was some scripts and some processes that needed to be modified and adjusted and that are being tested out. And we wanted to be really transparent on that it's a little bit different than we imagined. It did have a little bit of an impact on schedule, but we think we're going to be able to make up that time. But we will be reporting back at the next JPA meeting in July on what the outcome of that is, because we are tracking a risk on that. And the impact of that risk, if realized, could be substantial. But again, the team is tracking through that, making adjustments, and we think is going to be able to positively mitigate that, but we need the proof of that. So that's why we're testing every single day to be able to mitigate that risk.
Okay. The other thing is performance has always been a concern of mine. I want to make sure that we're not going to have a performance issue. While we did on the ground testing, we're doing it during COVID, and we don't have nearly the same volumes that we would have outside of COVID. So how are we dealing with those projections?
So are you speaking specifically to the volumes of documents coming in or your staff being in the office?
Right. Right. We've waived a whole bunch of requirements. We're doing things over the phone that they still may go back to paper. So I didn't know if we even looked at the volumes pre-COVID to see if those are anywhere close to this, because if you're testing it right now, that's not going to be a good example of what it's going to be like.
We did. We looked at the volumes from 2019 from the functional design sessions and stats that we received from the different counties. So those should be reflective of pre-COVID volumes. And as John had stated in the performance testing, we did make sure that we taxed it. So we went above and beyond what those original estimates that we had were to ensure that we really pounded the system through these performance tests.
Okay, that's going to be really important. Thanks. Okay,
So
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, go ahead, John.
I think we're just any other comments, and then we're ready to move off this item.
Yeah, just one more comment from me, John. On the risk that you guys are tracking, is that the same risk that was the original one Laura wrote up that said that we may not be ready, or we have a different risk?
No, there is a risk for the C4 counties, and there's the original risk, the LA County with that we've been tracking to for several months.
Right, but that was
the work with LA County and your vendor Nextlogica seems to be going well. Now it's sort of the hardware and the loading and the unloading that we're tracking. So it seems like the work with has been going well, but we are tracking both of those items, and we'll be reporting out on those. But it seems like we're on a mitigation path.
Okay, all right, because I know the original one was with the vendor, and I thought we had mitigated that, but this is a different kind of risk, so I didn't want it to be not tracked separately. Okay, thank you. So any other comments from any other board members or state partners or questions? Okay, all right, how about public comment on this? Okay, all right, this is a big one for us, big move for everybody. So hope we stay positive on it. Thank you. That brings us to the next stop in the road.
Next up, we have our same drivers on this leg of the journey. So I'm going to turn it over to Danielle to talk about the customer service centers.
Thank you, June. Yeah, you're going to have us for a couple legs here. So I want to start by thanking all of the counties and participants for the IVR Contact Center Committee. They have been working very hard the last couple months. We kicked off in February and we hit the ground running. Great participation from that group. We've had 12 committee meetings since that project started. We've gone through 8 detailed design documents for review and approval by all the regions. And we have one that's currently pending approval. Like I said, great participation. Some of the key functional areas that have already gone through the detailed design process is the internal administration page. So how your counties are going to administer all the different configurations operationally for their contact center, the enhanced customer control panel, which is how they take calls and monitor reporting tools, and of course, work from home processes and setups. So how you can set up to make sure that your in-office staff and your out-of-office staff or in other districts' office all have the same user experience. So that was really a key point and a difference from what we have in the C4 counties today. And we really, with COVID, we really did have to transition and figure out, because it is something for the future that we know we're going to have remote staff moving forward, and we want to make sure that everybody's getting the same support user system and able to take those customer calls the same way. So we are starting our application development design for the contact center interfaces and integration. And so we're working through that. If you want to move to the next slide, this is our timeline. So as you can see, we've kind of worked through our core tech design. We're in that app dev. A few key things I want to point out on this timeline is that we are going to begin engaging our advocate and stakeholder groups for our customer facing technology for contact center. And we're looking to get that feedback and everything by the end of this year. So we're excited to start those conversations. The other really important thing to point out on here is that we are going to start engaging the individual counties. So LA County first, followed by this same wave approach. So the wave 1 through wave 6 counties to talk through the individual county options and functionality for their contact center. This is sizing, agents, call flow, etc. So we're really excited to start those conversations. We are going to start in July with LA. And that is it for our contact center update. Back to you, Michael.
Okay. In LA County, we have a pretty much transformational thing going on, and we're sort of turning into a virtual call center. Almost everything is becoming over the phone, which is great. But you guys sometimes refer to it as call center, almost like the more traditional call center, or we would call our general inquiry call center. But we have other call lines that are going to be supported out in the offices that are using the same technology we have now. I'm assuming they're going to be moving over to this solution as well, even though they may not fit the traditional call center model. I want to make sure the project's aware of that so they don't go, how many thousands of people are going to be on this?
Yeah, so that's great to let us know. One of the reasons that we're doing these individual sessions with the counties is really to deep dive specifically with the counties, what the needs are, the number of staff. We have been working very closely with LA County as they're transitioning from Lagan to Salesforce. So we already know some of those unique needs. But yeah, we are excited for those conversations and understand that everybody does it a little bit differently. Everybody calls it a little bit something different. So call center, customer service center, we have TAD centers and RCCs. So we are excited to start engaging the counties and filling in all those gaps because we know there's tons of questions.
Okay, great. I just know that you guys have your eyes on a lot of things, and I just want to make sure that we're not going to have a shock factor when you see it's not 600 agents, it's actually 5,000.
We'll work through it.
Okay. All right. Any other comments or questions from the other board members or state partners? This is another big one. Okay. There'll be more comments in the future. I know it. All right. Any public comment? All right. Then this item is done, and we're getting down near where I live in the state. So we're making it down the map.
Great.
Thanks,
So
Daniel.
yeah, so our next to last stop is the San Bernardino bots pilot, and Gilbert Ramos is going to be joining Danielle and John, who are still with us, to talk about the pilot. So they'll be given a short demo on the simple bot authentication, give an update on that timeline for pilot of the authentication bot and the welcome bot and push notifications, and then tell us a little bit about the pilot success criteria. So back to you guys.
Yeah, I will go ahead and start with the first slide when we get over to it. So just to give a quick background on and a reminder of what this pilot was and what we were trying to accomplish here. So a couple of quick things to point out. Due to this being a pilot, we have conducted the pilot and are conducting the pilot in English only from a language support perspective. As this pilot expands or the success is proven out, right, and if it expands out to other counties or becomes a permanent solution, we have it on our list to add additional languages that we'll do when we go to expand that, and we'll look at what AWS currently supports for the languages for this particular solution, and we will add those as part of a future enhancement when we go to expand the solution. So that being said, the core kind of reason for this functionality is try to take some of the basic kind of tasks like authenticating a customer, kind of off of the skilled workload or skilled staff that are really there to support the end customer and providing benefits to the end customer, right? So some of the things that we looked at here are improving authentication, and we created a bot that we're basically replicating some of the key questions and pieces of information that the county would ask in order to authenticate somebody. So we're having the bot ask these questions. We do not ask all of the questions if we get enough information to authenticate them prior to going through the exhaustive kind of list. But the overall goal here is to authenticate them with some of this methodology and take that workload off of the end agent. The next item on the list is push notifications. And this is really, once you're authenticated, if we know something about your case that might provide some value to you, like for example, maybe you just submitted your SAR-7, you were calling to see if it's been processed or delivered or it's been received or those types of things, right? We can push some information directly to the customer without them really prompting for it. We will push a couple of key pieces of information like the status of their SAR-7 directly to them to see if we can help assist them and give them what they need rather than having to talk to an agent. The last one on the list is really kind of your open-ended question, which you've probably experienced in different types of call centers, of kind of the how can I help you today question, and then taking that information, figuring out why the person is calling, and then taking that and either putting them into the self-service portion of the IVR because they're calling about something we can service them with a self-service option, or directly putting them into a queue because there is no self-service, and we can just directly drop them into the CalFresh queue to get them supported on their particular case. So, I mean, I think that's the core reason for the pilot and what we're doing. So now we're going to see a quick demo of the authentication bot, and then we'll come back to the next slides.
Hello, this is Charles Heo, CalSol's Contact Center Deployment Lead. And in this brief demo, we'll introduce the Authentication Bot, or AuthBot. The AuthBot is an intelligent, interactive virtual agent that saves valuable agent time by assuming the task of gathering and verifying the identity of callers. In this demo, we'll illustrate a common scenario representative of most calls where users provide their date of birth and social security number. It depicts a short and effective user interaction with the bot, supporting an optimal user experience. So let's get started. For this demo, we're going to jump directly to the AuthBot in the San Bernardino County IVR call flow.
In order to further assist you, I need to verify who you are. I will be asking a series of questions to verify your identity. To begin, can you please say your case number or say, I don't have it?
I don't have it.
That's okay. I can use other information to verify your identity. Can you please say your date of birth? You may say January 1st, 2000, for example.
September 1, 1969.
I heard September 1st, 1969. Is that correct?
Yep.
Thank you. Can you please say your social security number?
740-43-1834.
I heard 740-43-1834. Is that correct?
Yes.
You have been successfully authenticated.
If we take a closer look, we'll see that the bot is capable of advanced capabilities such as processing and understanding touchstone entries, understanding variations of yes and no, such as yeah, yup, and nope, understanding numbers and dates in multiple formats, such as 1834 as 1834 and O as 0. And for dates, understanding September 1 as September 1st. Additionally, we've customized the bot to perform data validation, be less robotic by tuning the rate of speech and inserting natural pauses, and providing the right amount of time for users to gather requested information. In conclusion, in close collaboration with San Bernardino County, we created a highly effective and intelligent bot that makes the contact center more productive by offloading time-consuming activities, allowing agents to focus their efforts on what matters most for our customers. We hope you've enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching.
Hi, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the authentication bot demo. There is a lot to that functionality, and we just wanted to highlight just a little bit of it. Let's see. This is the timeline slide, so we're going to go ahead and jump in. There is a couple things on the slide that didn't get updated. So we actually went live with the authentication bot, so it is live in production in San Bernardino County on June 18th. So we had some reporting pieces that we wanted to make sure we had right before we released that, because we do need those reporting pieces to analyze the success criteria and make sure that this is something we want to move forward with. And then we are working on the welcome bot and push notifications. So we are currently kind of wrapping up the development of those. And we're going to be doing a demo for San Bernardino County next week and start working through some of that UAT testing with San Bernardino County to work through those. So with that, you can move it to the next slide. And I am going to pass on to Mr. Ramos to talk about the success criteria.
Thanks, Danielle. I really appreciate that. So first, let me just start by saying that this has been a long time coming for myself as well as San Bernardino County. The very first time that we saw the capabilities that automated assistance could provide to us, we really wanted to take advantage of it. And so I'm so pleased to know that here in San Bernardino County, we're able to pilot it. As Danielle mentioned, we started it off on June 18th, so just last Friday, and we've already seen pretty remarkable success thus far. So there's 3 that we're going to be working on. The only one that's been released so far is the authentication bot that we got the demo of. And what we're trying to accomplish here is just as in regards to any tool, because that's what this is a tool, is the tool being maximized. And it's a tool for the customer as well as for the staff, because we want the customer experience to be a good experience. So when the customer is calling in and they're able to go through that process, as Charles demonstrated in the demo, we want to make sure that the customer gets authenticated as often as possible, because that means it's going to be a good experience. But then that opens up the doors for a whole lot of other things that they can do self-service. And if the customers are self-serving, then we're not going to have them talking to an agent to provide them same information that they can get for themselves. So we want to make sure that's one of the things we're going to be looking for in the authentication bot for success. The other thing is making sure that it's a tool for the staff. So as the customer does authenticate themselves and they're able to maybe still need to talk to an agent because the self-service stuff isn't available, or maybe they need to report a change or something to that effect, we want to make sure that that person comes in, that customer comes in authenticated, talking to the staff member, because that's going to save time. And so that way, the staff member can do the things that a staff member needs to do, and digging into the eligibility situation, the family situation, providing that human touch to the service. So that's what we're really looking forward to seeing in this pilot here that we have. So I just want to kind of illustrate that, and a couple of customer comments that we've received so far is just that it's worked well. They said, I liked it because I can do it myself without having to talk to anyone. For whatever reason, in today's generation, maybe even with COVID adding to some of the social distancing requirements and things like that, people become more comfortable not necessarily personally interacting, face to face with another human, even though we can miss that sometimes. But some of our customers are saying, I like just taking care of it myself, not have to talk to anybody else. Another customer had mentioned that so far they found it easy, and they provide the options that were provided is exactly what they needed. So again, another a thumbs up on towards the success. So far so good in our pilot. It's not even a full week that we've been up and running, and these things are looking really, really well. As to the other 2, as they get ready to roll out the push notification and the welcome bot, again, it's just other other tools to help the customer as well as the staff to deliver great customer service when they're calling us, getting the information that they need for the reason why they're calling us. And then if they do need to talk to the staff member is going to be primed and ready to go and help them right away, minimizing time that's spent on other things. And just as a quick little conclusion and example, so far out of the successful calls that we've received that's gone through the automated assistance process, we're calculating over 10 hours of savings just in the calls in about 3 days. 10 hours of savings. That's like that's a whole staff member for a day, more than a whole staff member for a day actually, of time saved because customers were able to self-authenticate. So that's my update on that side. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Gilbert. Thank you, Danielle. Thank you, John. I think there's a couple of comments in the chat specific to languages. And just to clarify, this is a pilot in San Bernardino. It is just a pilot that is in English right now. We're going to be bringing that data forward. We're going to be working with AWS, who does have a roadmap that they're working on for additional languages. We know that Spanish is the next language that they do have some maturity on to be able to expand it to Spanish and then have a roadmap. So as this goes from the pilot phase and consideration for expansion, we know a very important part to all of our counties is what is the multi-language support. But we wanted to get real statistics from a real call center on how effective this could be, and then have a roadmap for adding additional languages. Michael, I think that concludes the presentation.
Yeah,
John, if I could just maybe add one more comment, because I see that Antonia had made a comment about can it help them complete their SAR-7, and these bots right now don't, but I think that's a great idea, and maybe there's a time where we can reach there at that level with the bot, because the automated assistance is a tool that we should maximize its capacity, because there's so much value in maximizing that automation.
Yeah, so thanks. I'm glad that you guys reported out on this, because we're really interested, because we looked into it before and language was very troubling in terms of its ability to recognize dialects, and not necessarily the one that you guys have been testing, but the others that we were looking into. So I think it's something we have to keep a good eye on as the technology advances, to make sure that that's something that gets picked up, and that we don't have any discrepancies for maybe non-English speakers who are attempting to speak English, and whether it recognizes that well or not. And then I wanted to find out how you've implemented it. Did you put this basically in front of everybody who comes into your center, or how do you distinguish you after a language choice, or how did you guys go about doing that?
So John or Danielle may be better positioned to explain how it comes in, but for the most part, all the calls that come in, I think the first prompt is like their language choice, and if it is English, then they'll have an opportunity to go through the authentication bot. If it's not English, it'll go through the regular IVR process and offer the other options that are available currently through the IVR process. Once it's been gone through that language process or the language question, we have another kind of service, a predictive handling service, where we would take a quick look at the case to see why they might be calling and see if that's the reason, and then they wouldn't see the bot then, and they would go through that process of the predictive handling. But if the reason why they were calling was not because of the predictive handling, then they would go back through the automated assistant. But John or Danielle, please clean that up if I didn't answer correctly.
No, you answered that great. Good job.
So did you guys eliminate the IVR entirely, and the bot handles everything on the IVR?
No.
No.
So this is a module that's been placed in a specific point in the IVR call flow. So as they're going through the flow, naturally it starts with a welcome message of some sorts. Welcome to TAD Customer Service Center, I think is what it says, or San Bernardino TAD Customer Service Center. Ask them for their language. If there's any special announcements San Bernardino has put in there, they're going to hear those as well. And then it will go through the flow. So San Bernardino is unique, and they have been our innovators for call center for a while. So they do, as Mr. Ramos had said, have predictive handling, which asks them, looks at their case and asks them some predictive question to see if we can help them faster. And then it'll go through the authentication pieces. So this authentication bot is one of those pieces to help the customer go through there easily. We also have voice authentication that is an option for the supported languages, and as well as case and pin and social if they don't use the bot. So to get them to self-service or where they need to go in the IVR.
Great. Any other comments or questions from the board members or the state partners? How about public comment on this? Okay, hearing none, I think we can move on. Thank you very much for the presentation. Move on to the next item.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet? We're almost there. Our last topic for today, and we're down at the bottom of the state in San Diego Imperial counties. So our last topic is the analytics demo, and we all know data is important and drives our business. So I'll turn it over to Mark for the last topic. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, June. Hello, everyone. My name is Mark Petta. I'm a manager here at the project under the Cloud Data Integration Services. We have a few items on analytics I'd like to discuss with you all today. We're going to discuss a bit about ad hoc reports readiness, as well as our replatforming reports efforts. And to this end, we prepared a video we'd like to share with you all now.
Ad hoc reporting readiness, training and events. CalSOS is developing web-based training material for the Click platform capabilities, which will demonstrate how to create bookmarks, how to duplicate the sheets, and how to delete, add, configure objects, and a lot more. ClickSense Overview CalSOS functional presentation video provides a high-level walkthrough of ClickSense for users to get a general knowledge of its functionalities. These web-based training material will be made available for all counties on Learning Management System. As a part of ad hoc reporting readiness, CalSOS Connect and Query training was provided to the county ad hoc developers and users. This training on May 24th and 25th has covered various topics, including enhanced data reporting and Apex connectivity. Several more such useful training sessions are being planned. Consortium has established monthly meetings for ad hoc user community workgroup. First meeting was facilitated on April 20th. These monthly meetings will be the platform for the community to communicate directly with CalSOS and receive updated information. Ad hoc user knowledge base. Forumbi is deployed and available for ad hoc user community. This platform will be the single source for ad hoc knowledge base. Forumbi will host project documentation links and provide easy access to various resources, including but not limited to CalSOS Analytics and ad hoc related documents, Q&A, CalSOS Analytics webinars, replatform inventory of CalSOS dashboards and reports, replatform design documents, legacy to CalSOS data mapping and data dictionary, physical data models, and ERD diagrams. Access to CalSOS data sources. CalSOS team understand how important it is for our counties and other stakeholders to have the data to effectively run the day-to-day business, serve our diverse communities, and make informed decisions that make the lives of Californians better. Keeping the specific data need in mind, CalSOS makes every effort for counties to have access to appropriate data sources for all their data needs. CalSOS has provided connectivity to a variety of datasets in CalSOS cloud environments. Currently, counties are in process of testing and validations. Counties have various best suitable options to get their data using appropriate tools from the data sources, namely Enhanced Data Reporting, Oracle Standby Database, Data Lake, purpose-built data sets, and RDS. CalSOS have made state-of-the-art wide variety of APIs available to get the business domain related data. These APIs are compatible with all platforms and devices such as mobile.
In addition to the CalSOS data sources that are available, there will also be an option for counties to establish their ad hoc reporting solution entirely in the Amazon Web Services cloud using CalSOS established modern and performant architectural patterns. These optional county developer environments are for counties that are interested in having a cloud-based ad hoc reporting solution all in their own cloud development environment. These optional county developer environments offer a platform that is reliable, scalable, easy to use, and cost-effective as a cloud ad hoc reporting solution. These optional solutions allow counties to leverage the CalSOS data lake and/or the CalSOS purpose-built data sets for their own county reports, analysis, and development. Counties will be able to bring their own reporting tools to develop and test their own reports. This is an excellent option for those counties already considering transitioning their on-premises ad hoc reporting solutions to the cloud, but would like to continue to use their existing reporting tools. This option would allow for the counties that are already using such tools as Tableau or Power BI to continue to do so. This optional ad hoc reporting solution provides an entire cloud developer environment from storage in Amazon Web Services S3 bucket to data management in a relational database in Aurora to Amazon Athena, which is an interactive query service that makes it easy to analyze data in Amazon S3 using standard SQL. Cost estimations have been done, and a summary of those numbers are provided here. This pricing is for a production-like environment. Please note that these are estimated costs and that counties will be invoiced for the actuals if they choose to pursue these options. Detailed cost estimations can be made available on request. Provided in this table are summaries for each sub-tier within. The sub-tiers have been priced to show solutions ranging from small to medium to large in size. These summaries show that annualized totals range from $39,600 for the small environment to $320,400 for the large environments. CalSOS is excited about offering this optional solution and look forward to any interest.
Hello, thank you for giving us, the Consortia Data Integration Services team, the opportunity to provide you with an overview and status of the CalSOS Analytics Dashboards and Reports Replatform project currently underway. This project is a collaboration of several teams, all of us working together towards the common goal of replatforming 27 dashboards, which consist of approximately 390 unique reporting measures and 432 state and management reports from the current Oracle-based business intelligence architecture of the C4 and LRS systems to the new high-performant cloud-based platform called ClickSense. The teams involved in this effort consist of the Accenture Analytics team, as well as the CalSOS Project Consortia Data Integration Services team, working closely with the CalSOS Project User Acceptance Testing team, with collaboration from our state partners from the California Department of Social Services and the Department of Healthcare Services. To date, more than 210 people from the project, Accenture, county, and state have participated on this refactoring project. This endeavor started back in 2018 with the initial proof of concept when the benefits and impacts on having the CalSOS system on the cloud were determined, as well as identifying the requirements for a cloud-based data warehouse business intelligence architecture for the expected volume of California's 58 counties. In 2019, the analytics team began work on the replatform effort. The trajectory to where we are has been challenging yet very rewarding, as we have thus far successfully completed 2 major deployments to production, which combined consisted of 13 dashboards and 96 data management reports, fully replatformed to the new tool. Our third major deployment is just around the corner, which will consist of 7 additional dashboards and 119 data management reports. We are on track in our timeline to replatform all C4 dashboards and reports by the time C4 goes live in September of this year. Each release implementation is preceded by an intensive validation process to ensure a like-for-like comparison between the source production and the target replatform versions. Every effort is made to maintain the look and feel of every reporting metric, maintain the same functionality, and make certain data integrity is strictly adhered to. After each replatform dashboard and report has been built, each with respective areas of ingestion, curation, and visualization system tested by the Accenture Analytics team, it is handed over to our Consortia Data Integration Services team, who performs a thorough examination. Following this internal validation, we then engage the user acceptance testing team and state liaisons, whom along with the recruited subject matter experts, they meticulously analyze every detail of the source and target dashboards and reports to ensure as much like-for-like visualization and, most importantly, complete data integrity. When issues are found, defect tickets are created and prompt action is taken to deploy the fixes to make certain we stay on schedule. Once all dashboards and reports for the respective release pass this extensive validation process, they are then green-lighted to be deployed in production. Here's an example of one of those dashboards already replatformed in Qlik. As you can see, it has a modern look and feel, and it includes additional visualization features while still retaining the functionality of the legacy version. The user can easily navigate to a desired metric, applying filtering criteria such as reporting month, division, office, worker, etc., to render the selected outcome. The user can then expand the chart and work within it, or can drill down to a respective case list in which the user can apply further filtering criteria from the case list headings to display the desired output. User can then right-click on the case list to export it to Excel, or click on a case link to navigate to the case information within the CalSOS application. Our team would like to express our appreciation to all of the aforementioned teams for all their hard work and commitment in continuing this effort to achieve our goal. We hope to continue this collaboration to ensure all of California's 58 counties' reporting needs are met. Thank you.
Okay, Michael, I think that concludes that topic.
Yeah, I had one question about the pricing sheet you had. Was that for counties to establish their own environment, like a warehouse, or what is that for?
I can take this, Jim. Yeah, that's correct, Michael. That would be for counties that are interested in actually standing up their own cloud development environment.
So how much access would we have to it? Will we have full access, our developers, and everybody would have complete access, or do we have to rely on the CalSOS team to maintain that?
That will be determined on how it is all configured, Michael. It would be quite specific to how it's used, how it's set up, and those types of access determinations would be made then.
Okay. So is that an offering being put out by the project, Don, or is that an offering being put out by one of the vendors?
It was a request that we be able to provide that and leverage the project infrastructure for the counties to be able to utilize our instance. So we are using our project infrastructure that we've done to be able to provide that and leveraging the project to be able to do that. So it's really just providing for that instance and that ability to be able to use that. So it's leveraging the project to be able to do that and what the consortium owns. Again, it's optional. People can stand up their own environment separate, but we can be able to utilize our environments and lower the price for some counties in doing this. And Mark, clean up if I've misspoke.
Yeah, that's accurate, John. It's certainly an optional, decision that the counties can make if they choose to want to implement a cloud solution too. So yeah, John, that was accurate.
All right. If we want to get more information about it, John, is Laura the one to follow up with?
Absolutely. And there's going to be more information going out through the regional managers. The regional managers have been working with the ad hoc community, who is very active, and they've been looking for these pricing sheets. They've been actually asking for that, so that those things can be considered as the counties move forward and make some decisions. So yeah, we could work with Laura and her team, and the ad hoc team with Mark, and the regional managers are going to be getting some information as well to be able to disseminate out to all the counties for planning purposes.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments by the board members or our state partners? Any public comment on this item? All right, I think, John, you said 4:25, and I think we reached 4:25 on the dot.
I think we did. Michael, I want to thank all the people that hung in there. I want to thank our membership. And I really want to thank our project team, inclusive of all of our staff and our vendor staff. They've worked really hard to put this together. A ton of information. I know that there's a ton of information, but we're really, really looking forward to September, November, and each one of the CalWIN waves. And we wanted to get this out, and a lot of this material is going to be reused and start really setting that platform for information. For those that are coming to the project steering committee, that is going to start in just 5 minutes. It's going to be hopefully a 5 or 10-minute meeting just to elect the co-chairs for the coming fiscal year. And thank you, Michael. I look forward to working with you very closely again for the coming fiscal year.
You too, John. Thanks everybody for hanging in, and enjoy the rest of what you have left in your day.
Michael, I want to, this is Delphine, I want to say a couple things. First, I want to thank John and the team. It's an excellent day, very productive, but really I want to thank Michael for agreeing to be our leader, and working through this is a lot of dense information. And it's usually our monthly meetings are like this. And I really want to express my appreciation to the other 10 board members that have worked with us all year long on this project. So again, thank all of you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Delfino, for your service as well as the vice chair. And looks like we've got a fun year ahead of us, and let's all stick together and get through it. So thanks again. And we'll go ahead and sign off now and let the PSC take over. Take care.